All right, so today we are checking out Iron Maiden, Prowler. Let's get it. Wait, let's not. This is not like my normal videos. I'm going to actually do an intro to this. Why? Because for those of us who are on the musical discovery journey, this is a band that I have heard a lot of, but mainly greatest hits kind of stuff. So I am going to go back through the entire catalog, starting at song number 1, all the way through what I understand is song number 187. That's what Wikipedia, I think, told me how many songs they have. I'm very familiar with Iron Maiden. I know their top 20-25 greatest hits. I've heard a lot of them. A majority of them I've actually heard live, and 95% of them have all been Bruce Dickinson. But for those Maiden fans that feel a little bit underrepresented, should I say, in the reaction category, stick with me. I don't know all of Iron Maiden. I know about 25 to 30 of their songs pretty well. The rest, I'm going to discover. This is something I've wanted to do for a long time. This is music from back in my day. Some of it's actually before me. I was born in 1977. This was released in 1980. I've heard some of the songs off of it. So I'll let you know when I've heard it before. I'll let you know if I haven't, so you know what true reactions are. But if you want to join me for the journey, or just watch one video at a time because it makes sense for you, that's cool. But just know that if it takes me 2 years, as long as this channel's alive, I'm going to keep this playlist going. And my goal is to go through the entire discography of Iron Maiden, so that way by the time I'm done with it, I can say that I'm not just an Iron Maiden fan because I know the top 25, 30 hits. I'm going through all the singers. I'm going through all the songs. I'm going to check out some of the history. And hopefully at the end of this, I love them even more than I already do now. Now, I give you Iron Maiden, Prowler. I've heard this song before. I think I've only heard it live, and Bruce was singing, for sure. Nice little late 70s riff. Yes, I know this song. Haven't heard it in a long time, though. That's Steve Harris in the background killing it. Nice environment change they did here. This is a good mood change, especially considering the lack of production and engineering technology they had back then. Here it comes. Big solo, baby. Let's do it. solid song. guitars similar, but not the same. Picking patterns just different. Open on one, muted on the other. Prowler. That, ladies and gentlemen, was Prowler by Iron Maiden. It was the first song on their very first album that was released April 14th in 1980. So if you're coming over from another video and you don't know Iron Maiden, you are at the very beginning of the journey. I was 3 years old, almost 3 years old when this came out. I don't do that. I don't say that with the intent of making people feel old. Hell, I feel old. So I'm not saying that. I'm just providing that for some character reference. I was 3 years old when this album came out. So it shouldn't be a shock that it's not like I was super into this album. I don't think I really truly discovered Iron Maiden myself until their Fear of the Dark album, or possibly a live album. We got a little Wikipedia here. I'm going to do this. There's a lot about this album. There's a lot about the songs. We'll cover a little bit on each song, so that way we don't just nail it all in song one here. But looks like 1980. We talked about that. Sanctuary, we talked about that a little bit, but Sanctuary was not originally released in the UK. It was actually on the album. It was released as a single, I believe, is what it says. It was released in all other territories and remastered with Sanctuary on it, is my understanding. I am going to do Sanctuary. It is going to be part of this album. It's just how I know it was released, so that's how I'm going to cover it. That was classic Iron Maiden. You're not going to get as many real reactions from me as you would on maybe a newer band that I haven't discovered before, because regardless of the song, I'm probably going to still know their sound. Gave me everything I need. This is first song out the door. I'm already hearing Steve Harris, so if you don't know, Steve Harris is bass player in the band, does a majority of their songwriting, is my understanding. I know that there are songs written by the guitar players as well too, so not saying that there aren't, but just covering some bases here as we kind of start this massive playlist to go through the entire discography of Iron Maiden. Hopefully you enjoy the review. I thought it was fantastic. I love the dueling guitars as usual. They started that early. Not as much as what you hear in later albums, of course, at least on this one song. There was some cool picking stuff happening there between the two guitars. They were basically playing a very similar riff. I'd have to go back and listen to it again to really determine how similar they were, but the main thing I could hear was they were very similar, in line with each other. One was just a little bit more muted, while the other one was played a little bit more openly. Other than that, basic, simple, straightforward, classic metal song. Good solo break. They developed a nice mood here, and I know there's a visual that goes with it that helps it, but I loved it. I've heard it many times before. I've heard it live mostly, and I believe I've only heard Bruce sing it. My understanding is that Paul Di'Anno is the singer on this album, and I'm not familiar with Paul at all, so we'll probably get more familiar with Paul as we go through these first couple of albums that I believe he was on. We'll also talk about Dennis Stratton a little bit more as we go through this as well. My understanding is there's some creative differences between the band and Dennis, and that's why he didn't really stick around very long. But we've got some more stuff to cover on this album, and we'll keep talking about the Wikipedia and learning a little bit. So for those of you who know more than Wikipedia does, and I know there's a lot of you, feel free to say it in the comments. I might not always have time to respond to everybody, but it is cool to read them, and I'm sure you guys will talk it out there a lot, especially as classic fans. For new people discovering Iron Maiden, hey man, don't just stop here. Go check them out. You can go to the new stuff if you want. It's just as awesome. Go check out some of the live stuff. But if you want to discover them with me, I'll be doing at least 2 to 3 of these a week. I think this first week here, I'm going to try to knock out 5 or 6 so we can really get this playlist going. For those classic Maiden fans that are on here searching this out and you're like, man, finally. I'm not a rapper. I'm not a hip-hop head. I'm not any of those other things. I am just an old school metalhead. Always have been, always will be. If you're not in the Iron Maiden family, or you want to be more of a metalhead, feel free to listen to more of this stuff. It'll help. And for those of you who are also in the Iron Maiden family, thanks for having me. We'll be back. I hope we all enjoy this.